Hello and welcome again to the Age of Enlightenment. My name is Dr. Robert Stacy, Professor of Government here at Houston Baptist University and observer of all things Enlightenment. Well, over these last few months, we've received a lot of questions here at the Age of Enlightenment, inquiring about the prospects for impeachment in this current administration. Now, impeachment can be a difficult subject to understand, so I thought we might take a few minutes to look more closely at it. The Constitution provides an impeachment process that closely resembles a criminal trial. The House of Representatives act like a kind of prosecutor, bringing charges against the president. These are called articles of impeachment. And then the U.S. Senate convenes and sits in judgment over that president, determining whether he is guilty of these charges and thus removed from office, or he is not guilty of these charges and he remains. Let's be clear, there are no other alternatives. Either he is guilty and he's out, or he is not guilty and he is in. There are no other penalties that apply, no other measures to be taken. In the history of the United States, there have been only two presidents who have faced impeachment. Andrew Johnson, following the Civil War, and more recently, President Bill Clinton. And of course, neither were removed, and that's an important consideration for us. The threshold for impeachment must be pretty high if in these last 2¼ centuries we've never actually removed one. The Constitution itself points to 4 possibilities for removal. These would include bribery and treason, and high crimes and misdemeanors. Now those first two, bribery and treason, are pretty clear. We think we probably have a good sense of what those would mean. But it's those second two, high crimes and misdemeanors, that lead to some confusion and a lot of debate. It's helpful to take a look at what the founders themselves were thinking at the Constitutional Convention of 1787. In fact, in the records of those debates, there's some indication of what they were thinking. We see, for example, that those first two, bribery and treason, were pretty clear, and they wanted to make sure that those were reasons to remove a sitting president. But they also understood there could be other crimes, serious crimes, that might warrant removal. And so that was captured in that third category, something serious, a criminal activity, not something minor, but something serious that could mean that a president should no longer serve. But then they also wanted to capture a whole different set of possibilities, not criminal activity per se, but just what if a president did his job poorly? What if he did things in office that were just not appropriate to his constitutional duties? They first thought about the word maladministration. Think about what the word means, maladministration, bad administration. What if he just inappropriately or badly executes his office? They ended up settling, after some debate, on the term that is there now, this notion of misdemeanors. And again, break down the word misdemeanors, bad actions or inappropriate activities. All this is meant to capture the idea that something short of criminal activity could nevertheless warrant removal from office. Now, it turns out historically, though, we don't really apply that standard. What could be the kind of activity that might warrant removal shy of criminal action? Well, how about, for example, arbitrary executive orders? How about failing to execute law that has been duly enacted? How about dangerous or irresponsible foreign policy? There are at least some in our country who would say that the current president, and maybe some in the past, have done any or all of those things. But as it stands now, our reading of the Constitution sets those things aside, and we sort of lump misdemeanors in with the criminal activity. That, of course, is not what the founders had in mind, but that is sort of where we stand today. As a result, I would suggest that the prospects for any kind of impeachment activity in this administration are very slim. Unless the president were to actually commit some kind of serious crime, I would not expect to see any movement on impeachment. Well, that's enough for today here at the Age of Enlightenment. Thank you for joining us. Please come and visit us at Age of Enlightenment, that's unlightenment.com, or at hbu.edu. Thank you very much.